Thank you, darling. It's interesting how the truth can sometimes seem might malleable, depending upon your point of view.
Like how those dime novels make you out to be something you're not?
Jack, don't be starting trouble.
No, he's right. They do tend to exaggerate.
Did they exaggerate your part in taking down the Daltons?
Well, I was there in the flesh, boy, so I saw what happened firsthand. Those Daltons were lawmen once, before they all went bad, robbing banks and trains clear across the territory. Until Coffeeville, of course. I was one of the citizens who took up arms that day.
Fighting on the side of right?
I did my best, sir. We all did.
Einen wunderschönen guten Abend, ihr Blutsauger, und herzlich willkommen zurück zu Call of Juarez, Gunslinger. Gestern kam leider kein Video, weil hier an unserem Haus mega Bauarbeiten waren, die jetzt immer noch stattfinden, aber ich muss jetzt mal, sonst habt ihr halt wieder kein Video, das möchte ich nicht. Man nennt mich den Kopfgeldjäger. Momentan geht's auch, man hört nichts im Hintergrund, ist gut. Das kann sich schnell wieder ändern.
And he handed out firearms to anybody who'd take one.
Immer noch das Gewehr.
The Daltons got it in their heads to rob two banks at the same time. Two banks on the same damn street.
Die Daltons.
The story was Bob Dalton's girl was always writing him about how he had no ambition. Oh, you're nobody next to Jesse
Redet grad so viel.
Finally, the bastard took his brothers to Coffeeville just to shut her up. Well, the locals recognized the Daltons right off. Before they could get away, half the town took up arms to defend their property.
Hä? Ohne Witz, ist hier nicht einer durchgegangen?
The brothers paid dearly for their stupidity, but everybody knows. They had it coming.
There's more to it than that. I read all about that day, so I know for a fact that it went down very differently.
Nein, es war nicht ganz anders.
First of all, it was high noon. A posse of U.S. deputy marshals were on the rooftop across the street.
Get ready, boys. They're gonna make a move.
The lawmen had been tracking the Daltons for months. Now they finally had them dead to rights. Among them was a bounty hunter feared by many a lawbreaker. This man had no intention of letting the Daltons slip away. The marshals tried to get the Daltons to surrender.
They'll give up eventually. We just have to wait till something reaches out.
This bounty hunter knew that the brothers were far too proud to ever lay down their guns.
Die geben nicht auf, die Daltons.
He went in there alone to confront those criminals.
Gut, dass da die Leiter
One of the
kam.
marshals shouted, "Where are you going? Are you crazy?"
Hey, where do you think you're going, dumbass? That rifle's mine.
But he paid him no mind. He saw a way to get around to the back of the bank. Then he figured out how to hit the Daltons from a direction they weren't expecting.
Was ein Zufall schon wieder.
From above. Fortunately, a water tower was right there.
Wo ist der Wasserturm? Das ist der Wasserturm. Glück, dass er da hier ist. Und da ist die Leiter. Ich dachte, ich darf wieder einfach durch die Tür gehen.
A moment later, he was climbing up a steep ladder, laughing at danger as he did.
Genau so stand das übrigens in der Zeitung. Also der Typ erzählt ja noch bessere Geschichten als wir.
It was brave men like him who risked their lives to tame this wild country.
Damit haben die nicht gerechnet. Zack, zack.
Heroic men like him, who did what other men couldn't or wouldn't to make this country free.
Is that Silas
Jim
Greaves?
Boo,
Son
Stady
of
Crow,
a
who
bitch!
died defending the Alamo.
Aber sie kennen mich. Genauso bin ich hier durchgerusht. Oh, oh, links. Habe ich alles falsch gedrückt, was man falsch drücken konnte.
He came away victorious, taking down those thieving Daltons. His name was Silas Greaves, and when the dust finally settled, he was the last man standing.
Natürlich war er noch am Leben.
Sorry, kid, but that just wasn't the way it happened.
Nein, so auch nicht? Ja, aber
It was
so.
early evening, not high noon.
Es war auf jeden Fall so.
The Daltons blew up a safe, and were all set to hightail it out of there. Those pathetic deputies surrounding the bank were dropping like flies.
Shit for you!
Saugeil, ey. Bob, Emmett und Great. Liebhaber, Anführer und Verlierer.
I had been tracking those jokers for months, waiting for them to do something reckless.
Boy, you
And finally, they did. Those stupid bastards decided to rob 2 banks at the same time in the same town where everybody knew them. But they still had friends in Coffee.
Can you shoot around corners?
Das mit diesem Holzschild ist doch eigentlich Quatsch. Muss sie doch jetzt verfolgen, oder? Also da lang. Oder? Du verlässt den Bereich der Geschichte. Wie geil ist das denn? Was sind die hier lang?
And those friends came after me like a pack of wild dogs, tooth and nail. They were coming at me from all directions. I caught sight of the Daltons running with the money and didn't want to lose it. Problem was, they knew the town better than I did. And to top it off, I found myself in the middle of another shootout entirely.
Did the Daltons hole up in somebody's house?
No, it was the Smiths, I believe.
Ich sehe nicht, von wo er schießt. Lol.
And they were shooting
Er
at
hat
the
richtige
Browns,
Holzklamotten
and
an,
we were
nice.
shooting at the Daltons, which wasn't any surprise, because those 2 families have been feuding forever.
Oh, ich muss irgendwo hinter kurz.
And since the Joneses are related to the Browns, they shot at the Smiths, pissing off the Heimhoffers, whose daughter recently married a Smith. Well, bullets were
Gehören
flying
zu mir,
every which
okay.
way as all the old feuds in Kansas caught fire all at once. There was a hell of a lot of pissed off people in Coffeeville that day. But that's just the way life is sometimes. Shit happens.
Ah, jetzt haben wir's. Oh, das war jetzt gerade ein
The
bisschen
Dalton
verwirrend.
boys knew I would never give up. Those Daltons weren't the sharpest knives in the drawer, but they always stood together. They set a trap to slow me down and allow at least 2 of them to escape. The 3rd brother stayed behind to plant me, just in case that trap of theirs didn't work. It was Emmett, the youngest, and he decided to stand his ground and face me down.
I ain't afraid of you, Silas Greaves. This is where it ends for you.
He was determined to...
Now it ends. Now it begins.
Taking me on all by his lonesome wasn't exactly a recipe for a long life.
But Emmett Dalton survived the robbery in Coffeeville. He's the only Dalton who did.
They say he was shot 23 times.
Well, Dwight, who do you think put all those damn holes in him?
Ja, ich glaube, das war wieder nicht richtig. Ne? Diese Geschichte ist schwer. An die erinnert man sich so gut.
That boy had grit.
Ach, die Daltons ist eine geile Story, Leute. Ich hoffe, ihr hattet trotzdem einen schönen Abend und dass wir uns morgen um 20 Uhr wiedersehen. Ich wünsche euch alles Gute. Bis dann, macht's gut, ciao.